First I'll start with, are you questioning the globe? That is the stance I come from. I question the validity of things that are put to me by other human beings through my experience. Now, when I turned my attention to try and understand and question this assumption that the Earth is a globe, I found that it was lacking in anything that would justify me continually holding that to be a true thing, that I live on the exterior of a globe. No, we were born into the claim it's a globe. That's what we have to question. Now, I know that it seems ridiculous because in people's eyes, people's minds, they have seen an image. They have seen the Earth depicted to them on a TV screen. They have been told that they are as a group of highly sophisticated, highly intelligent, superior beings who are going to a place known as the vacuum of space and have a vantage point of seeing our Earth as a whole from a distance. So it is going to seem ridiculous to people at first, because people in our generations, since the invention of the TV, have taken things that they see on the TV to be factual and true. What you have to do is you have to remove yourself from that position. You have to understand that if I was to show you something on a TV screen that defied your known experience of reality, like, you know, a video of me flying or levitating, you would know through your intellectual honesty, your discernment, that there has to be some sort of trick. You understand through your own experience that that's not the case. You know people cannot fly, you know people cannot levitate. Okay, unless they're using some form of advanced technology that we don't have a grasp on quite yet. So anything can be presented to you in the way of image, and it can be presented through a TV screen or in a picture, a painting, any of these things. You should know that that is in no way, shape or form enough to justify you accepting something as being true. That is the position I found myself in, because I understand that, you know, images and what I see in the TV can be manipulated. They can, you know, portray reality in people in a way that is nonsensical to my understanding of the physical existence that I'm in. So you've seen it, you see it in Hollywood movies, you see it in, you know, all sorts of TV programs, how, you know, they can edit and, you know, use sophisticated technology to make things appear as being real. So, again, you know, you have to remove yourself from that. And what I have to point out to you is that an image on your TV screen in no way, shape or form constitutes as any sort of scientific endeavour or scientific measurement of something being true. Science. Now, when I say the word scientific and science, I am talking about it from my understanding and how I use the word. Science to me simply means exploration. It means a human being exploring the reality, the physical realm that we find ourselves in, and seeing what we find. That's it. That's what exploration really should be. There is something totally different going on with what we call science and what people accept as science. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. What is happening is that you have institutions professing they are under the guise of science, while at the same time they are pushing existential narratives. What I mean by existential narratives is stories of who we are, how we came to be, how the world came to be, what our future may be. These are existential fairy tales. That is not what real science is about. Real science, real exploration is about, you know, moving through the physical existence and finding what you find from one moment to the next. What you find in the natural world, what you find in regards to the substances within the natural world, and the interaction of those substances. Okay, so when you look at mainstream now and what's been taught to your children and what was taught to you, it was a religious narrative, a story that is designed to encompass your psyche with a vision of who you are, where you are, and what life is. That should never be the case in real objective science. It should never be reading from storybooks and trying to give narratives like that. It should always be a pursuit from one day to the next, from one moment to the next, and advancing our understanding of the physical realm and the interaction of substances. Okay? So, that's what I mean by science. And you will note that, you know, the majority of mainstream and the institutions have, you know, wrapped science up an all-encompassing umbrella, and they just throw and pull out from that, you know, cesspool whatever they see fit in order to push certain agendas and to fit whatever narratives it is that they're trying to push. What you have to understand is, even in the mainstream realms of science, there are subdivisions. Okay, so we have many different practices. You could call anything a science. If you wanted, you could call picking your nose an art, a science. There is a science to picking your nose. Getting the nail the right size, the right shape, elongated enough to reach the right place. So we have to understand and you know, express to each other when we're using these words. Language has been used in many different ways, and you know, somebody else's attached definition to a particular word may be different to yours.
We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
So we have to iron these things out. We have to understand exactly what the language is and what the words actually mean, and if we're discussing the same things. So in mainstream science and in the scientific understanding, there is subdivisions. We have the natural sciences, which is encompassed as chemistry, physics and biology. Things that take to do with direct reality, how things operate, what the interaction is between substances, what you can create out of mixing different substances. Okay, that's real world practicality, dealing with the things in our direct reality. Okay, you also have other aspects. So you have the social sciences, which is to do with cultures, you know, psychology, language. Also in these subdivisions, you have mathematics, which is classed as a formal science. It's a formal science because it is a language. It is only a useful tool in regards to you know, practical engineering or anything in reality that is practical and demonstrable. Mathematics is a very useful tool in order to describe, you know, measurements, dimensions, areas, blah blah blah. But it always has to be attached to some aspect of our physical existence, so that, you know, I can then, you know, measure something or create something, and I can then give it a description which I can send to you, and if you understand that language, you can decode the language and you can recreate the practical reference that I am referring to in my mathematical description. So it is a useful tool, but it is classed as a formal science because it is only a language. The other reason is because, like any other language, I can use grammar to say Santa Claus is real, Santa Claus is not real. Both are grammatically correct. One is true, one is not. So mathematics is pretty much the same. In the realms of mathematics, you can go into the world of abstract, okay? Because it's just a language. You can create your axioms that you can start from, and you can wander away and create mathematical constructs that work as an artistic abstract expression. But there's a difference when people are making abstract concepts through the use of mathematics and then trying to attach it to being some sort of natural aspect of our everyday reality. which leads me on to talk a bit more about the globe. But the globe, I'm going to state it right here and now, has nothing measurable. It has nothing practical, nothing demonstrable. It is a concept, a narrative that has been pushed and is backed up by sophistry. Sophistry, for anybody who doesn't know, is a use of language, rhetoric, sophisticated language that is designed to bamboozle you, to seem legitimate and to sway your opinion or your beliefs into a particular narrative or agenda. Okay, it's just a tool of manipulation. It's not honest. It's not objective. It's just used to push whatever agenda or narrative somebody is trying to push. Then my criteria is practicality. Any claim that's being made to me about my objective reality must be in the form of practical demonstration. Okay? No language. When we question the globe, as I say, when I talk about something being real, you know, I can take anything that's real and I can demonstrate it to you. So if I was to say to you, you know, here's a substance that's known as glass, it has a set form to it, it has dimensions to it, it has a volume, a capacity that, you know, is holding a liquid, you know. This is something that's tangible, it's something that is real, okay, that can be measured and demonstrated to you. Like right now I'm going to demonstrate, there is a bottle. It is filled with the substance known as water. That substance has no form, it has no shape to it. Okay? It will seek the lowest point in any void. If it is met by a resistance that it cannot penetrate, it's going to dam up, it's going to fill up, and it's going to continually fill the void or the shape or the space, the containment that it is in. The surface is always going to be in an equilibrium. It is always going to be a horizontal plane. Okay? The water does not have the ability to conform to the outside of shapes and objects. It's formless. It has no elasticity. It has nothing to bind each molecule, if you like, to the other to give it elasticity, shape and form. It's formless. So when I say to you, that's my reality, that's what I find. We use that substance to level. We build reservoirs, canals, dams, lakes. We have oceans that contain that very substance. And it is known through our whole existence and by everybody who's alive right now that that substance has no form, it has no shape. Everybody knows it's going to show us the level line. That's the standard I expect. That's what I accept as being scientific. Or if somebody wants me to accept some aspect of my reality, they have to show me in a practical way. Now, to show you the contrast here and what is actually happening with maybe your mind right now as you're watching this, you have this image of a sphere Earth that you see on your TV screen. And you're thinking, how can they be lying? How can anybody prove to me they're lying? How could it be so big? How could he lie and get away with this? And you would probably ask me, debunk space, debunk the images they show me. This substance here is one of the only things you need. Because again, you can understand the substance. You can demonstrate it to yourself. You can demonstrate it to other people. It is an objective fact. It is really real. And it's in our immediate reality. The reason that you know that the lying and the image that's being depicted on your TV screen is not true is because they are depicting the earth with the substance known as water behaving in a way that is not real. Okay? The image contradicts my reality and your reality and your understanding and experience of reality. What has happened is that this image has been pumped through generations. It has been plastered through the media, and continually so. You have been seeing that image since you were a very young child, impressionable, when you never had the critical faculties of discernment and the ability to question claims that were being put to you properly. You put it to the back of your mind. You accepted it as being true because everybody else was saying it. The teachers are saying it, my parents are saying it, the TV's showing me it. And again, you're asking, how can that be the case? How could it be lying? Oh, how do I know? What I'm asking you to be is a direct realist. I'm asking you to stand firm as the scientist. That, you know, exploration does not belong to an institution. It belongs to you as an individual. It's up to you to understand your own mind, understand reality for yourself. No having some authority, some pseudo-intellect sitting on a pedestal trying to tell you what's correct, what's not correct, what's true and what's false. If you put yourself in that position, I have to call you a moron. You are willfully ignorant. You deserve to be lied to and have the piss taken out of you, which is exactly what these institutions are doing. So you have to understand how it works. An image on a screen does not trump our direct experience of reality that we all share. Because remember, I'm talking about us as a majority here. I'm not talking about a small clique of men and women who are professing that they are achieving some vantage point that you and I have never witnessed. The reason you know they're lying on that one substance alone is because of its behaviour, its physicality. What you might get is people telling you that they'll invoke their, what I call cult buzzwords and phrases, mantras. And again, I'm pretty sure anybody new is saying the same thing to themselves right now. Gravity. Gravity. A mystical non-entity that has no dimensions and no physicality. A mathematical construct, a concept that has been created as the central core of a narrative known as heliocentrism, globular Earth. That concept requires a mystical energy, like a god, just the same as any other religious existential narrative requires. Now, when you say gravity, do you understand what you mean by gravity? Do you understand that there's varying concepts of that word? I'm going to go with the majority that think they know what it is, and that is that the mass of the earth is pulling everything towards the centre. I'm going to talk more in another hangout about this aspect of pull, force. We're going to discuss what these things actually are. Now, talking about your globular earth and its word gravity, and somebody trying to tell me that the substance that I know has no shape or form to it and is incapable of supporting itself as to display shapes and convexity upon its surface, are going to try and tell me that this non-entity, this non-geometric, non-physical force is somehow magically allowing water to bend and maintain the bend upon its surface around the exterior of a globular earth. Now, what you have to ask is the questions. We can get into depth about gravity and its nonsense, okay? But what you have to be asking is that what is it about this non-geometric, non-entity force known as gravity? What is it that it's injecting or doing to the substance known as water that now allows it to behave in a way that is contrary to my understanding of physical reality? Is it injecting an invisible wallpaper paste? Is it injecting some form of energy that creates a jelly-like texture to it? That allows the water to bind together and act like jelly and bend around the exterior of the shape. I mean, it's absolute nonsense, is what it is. It's more of the sophistry, complicated crap language, trying to prop up a lie. And you think it's not as simple as that? Well, I beg to differ. Away you go and test this stuff for yourself. Away you go and look at history, the constructs, the things that we've designed and built that we still utilise to this very day under the understanding of how this substance behaves. The most accurate measuring tool to establish level, particularly over a large distance. More accurate than any man-made instrument. So you're stuck between, you know, a rock and a hard place, if you like. I've got this image that I see on the TV. I've got this baldy, tattooed Scottish guy telling me to trust my own senses and the substances in my reality. The choice is now yours. It's up to you whether you want to embrace your reality or remain in the realms of woefully ignorant.